I wish that I had more time for reading, which sounds really scandalous as an author because we should be reading as well as writing, but life gets in the way. However, there are some books that I go back to every year, and I love them. They're like old familiar friends. And these are the books that have shaped my life. Honestly, I could probably go on and on, so I might be making multiple videos on this topic because there's a lot of books that fall in this category. But these are the ones that came to mind right away, and they're probably my top books for rereads every year. So hopefully you'll find something in here that you want to read, or maybe something you've already read, and you can tell me in the comments if you've read them, or give me your own recommendations. Hi, I'm Roshni Lamino. I am an author, actress, voiceover artist, former game writer, former songwriter. I've worn a lot of creative hats, and I often get asked at events about my creative life, and I don't always, unfortunately, have the time to get into detail. So I thought I would just share my thoughts here on my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by, and hopefully you find these useful in your life, whether you're pursuing a creative life or not, because some of the tips I think might help you in general. Or if you've ever wondered what it's like behind the scenes of a creative person's life, here you go. Thank you, Kat. Riley's like, you are not. This is my cat, Riley. He's usually my writing buddy, and he's not going to let me pick up anything, are you? Thanks. I love you too. Okay, so the first book, probably author, that's really been super influential in my life is Patricia C. Wrede. She is a middle grade young adult fantasy author, some adult fantasy as well. And oh my gosh, I love her stuff. I started reading her at a very young age, and I've read pretty much her entire catalog, and I cannot say enough good things about her. In fact, um, I was fortunate enough that she came to my hometown, this is years ago, back in Michigan, did a reading, and I have a first edition signed copy. Where's the signature? Whoa. Hold on, I'll find it. Here you go. First edition signed copy of the fourth book in one of my favorite fantasy series, The Enchanted Forest Chronicles, of which the first two I've reread cover to cover so much I had to buy the books again. Dealing with Dragons, Talking to Dragons, that's number three. Searching for Dragons, and then, I'm sorry, Talking to Dragons is number four. Searching for Dragons, stuff like that. I love this series. First of all, very easy reads, very fun. And she was writing strong female characters before we even knew what that term was. We weren't using that in our language at that point. And what I loved about her characters is they were intelligent, and they had boundaries. And yeah, maybe they could wield a sword or, whatever, but it wasn't their ability to fight or anything that made them strong. It was the fact that they used their heads and used their circumstances to make things better for the world around them, Um, the fact that one was a princess, later a queen, the fact that one was a witch and she could do magic spells. They had such strong character. And I love that about them. And for a young girl, reading these books, they were really good role models to have. So I highly recommend them. Even if you're an adult, just pick it up. They're such great reads. Dealing with Dragons is the first one. The Enchanted Forest Chronicles by Patricia C. Wrede. Also by Patricia C. Wrede, also very influential. Her duology is called A Matter of Magic, but the first book in the series is Marilyn the Magician, and then the second one is Magician's Ward. Again, lovely, lovely characters. They're both kind of slow burn um, mysteries set in Regency England. Very great characterization, delightful characters. Marilyn is a trip. And I just, I think that's why I loved her writing so much, is because her characters are so well drawn. So if you're in fantasy at all, definitely pick up anything by Patricia C. Wrede, but especially the A Matter of Magic duology and the Enchanted Forest Chronicles. Thank you. Thank you, Riley. He agrees. Another author that I really, really like, Hilari Bell. She has two series. She's got a lot of books. But she's got two series that I really, really like. The Knight and Rogue series and then the Farsala trilogy. Although the Goblin, I think it's the Goblin Wood, or maybe it's just called the Goblin series, is also really good. Why do I like Hilary Bell? She has this knack for, it's not even a twist. It's more like, let me see. Usually in a book, especially fantasy, it's very black or white, right? It's like, this is the good guys, these are the bad guys. And we know they're good because you, the author, have told us they're good. And we know they're bad because you, the author, have told us they're bad, right? And, you're invading our land. You must be a bad guy, that sort of thing. But halfway through her books, she'll flip it around and you'll understand why the bad guys are doing what they're doing. And you go, oh, suddenly you're sympathetic to them. This is something I didn't see in cinema until the last maybe, I don't know, 7-ish years. Now we've started to have the villain origin stories like Maleficent, Cruella. One of my favorite sympathetic villains is Killmonger in Black Panther. But that trend didn't start happening until, I don't know, like I said, 7 or 8 years. Hilary Bell was already doing it. And it was really cool to see, like I said, for example, taking the invader thing, you see on the converse, oh, they're invading because someone invaded their land. They're not invading because they're jerks, they're invading because they also got displaced. So she's very good at the sympathetic all-rounder, in a way nobody is a bad guy, if that makes sense, kind of writing. Very, very interesting. And for young adult, middle grade kind of writing, I guess I would classify her as, honestly, it's hard to know because I feel like the ages for books have changed a lot. Um, like as an example, did you know my what is it? The Golden Compass used to be classified as adult fantasy, and then it became middle grade young adult. So that's why I never really know anymore about the ages of where books fall. So I put her like middle grade or higher young adult, but it's very thought provoking. And I really, really like the fact that she can just sort of turn things on its head and you go, oh, there are no bad guys here. Everybody has a very good reason for doing what they're doing. So definitely worth checking out. Another author that I absolutely love, I was so sad to find out he passed, Lloyd Alexander. Best known for, I believe it's pronounced the Prydain Chronicles. He's the one who wrote Black Cauldron and the other books in that series. But he is also his just delightfully fun. Some of them are quick reads. The series that the Black Cauldron is in, they're a little bit deeper for young adult, middle grade. My particular series that I really like by him, which I believe is out of print, is the Vesper Holly series. I ate these up as a kid. Um, Vesper Holly is the female Indiana Jones. She's kind of like, granted this was before National Treasure, but if you've seen the National Treasure movies, she was basically like Nick Cage, right? Very clever. She always was one step ahead of the bad guy. She knew all the answers. And she had this lovely guardian who was kind of bumbling professor type, who sometimes would get the glimpse of insight or whatever. Usually it was Vesper's domain. And I think that's what I loved about it, was just the characters were really well drawn. She was a very smart, competent character, borderline, sometimes a little insufferable, just shy of it. Just shy of it. Um, Lloyd Alexander was very good at flirting with that line of, she's really great, she's beautiful, she's competent, she's clever, and she's just shy of being insufferable, know it all. You couldn't help but like her. So very, very fun series. If you can get a hold of it at your library or something, I totally recommend it. I think the last book, Xanadu Adventure, might be the only one in print. It's been a long time. It's been a long time, but great, great series. Highly recommend them. Uh, Kind of coming up a little more recent, although it's not that recent, is Gail Carriger and the Parasol Protectorate. Fun story. Okay, so I love steampunk, and that's why I picked up her series in the first place. So all of it is like steampunk fantasy, werewolves, vampires. It is a great, great time. She's also really great with characters. Oh, I don't want to spoil it, but midway through the series, something happens and I nearly bawled because I was like, no, it's so unfair, you know. And she ended up giving this character a somewhat happy ending, but oh, it was very bittersweet. It was very bittersweet. I loved that series. And it's funny because when I get excited about something, I can just I can get other people excited about it too. I was working at the library and I was waxing poetic about how much I loved Gail Carriger's books. And so my coworkers were like, let's have a book club. And so I said, okay, let's read her books. And we forgot at that point she had Parasol Protectorate. She had like a was it the Finishing School series? So it's kind of like a prequel, sort of, but not about the characters in Parasol Protectorate. And I think she was even starting, is it Custard Protocol? The books after Parasol Protectorate, which are like the adventures of the kids from the unions that happened in Parasol Protectorate. And we didn't decide on which book to start with. I guess I just assumed he'd start with like the first book, which is Soulless. And everyone was reading a different book. So we were all reading the same author, but we were reading a different book, so we couldn't discuss anything because it was like, what are you reading? Oh, I don't know. It was really funny. But I hope they went on to read the rest of her books because she's great. So she's a lot of fun. I highly recommend her books if you're into steampunk, if you're into Victorian England, if you're into werewolves, vampires, or just good writing. Go pick it up. One book that I absolutely love, it's not new at all. This actually was written in the 50s, is The Glass Slipper by Eleanor Farjeon. I believe she's best known for, she only wrote a couple books from what I understand. I believe she's best known for the song Morning Has Broken. But The Glass Slipper is a really charming retelling of the Cinderella story. The characters in it, I don't want to say they're naive, but they're very innocent. Except for, of course, you know, the bad guy, right? The stepmother. But they're very kind and sweet and innocent in a way that I don't think we get in modern day stories. You know, they're just they're just so sweet. They really are. And it's just a lovely little book. Like I don't know how to describe it other than it's just charming. It's just a charming slice of 1950s writing, I guess, you know. I don't know if a book was written like that today, I feel like people would make fun of it. But it's just I don't know. I love it. I really, really love it. I It's definitely out of print. I believe you can get it in ebook form. It has made such an impression on me that one of my friends a long time ago searched it out and bought me a used library copy. So obviously it is, you know, pretty old. Here you go. Here's the library barcode. But they searched it out and found a used copy for me to have, and I have kept it all these years because it's one of my favorite books. I will tell you right now, if you read it, there is some archaic language in there. So don't be offended or frightened. They're not using it. There's a particularly a word in there that is now a derogatory term, but at the time it didn't mean that. It meant a bundle of sticks. So just be aware that there is archaic language in there and it's not used in a bad fashion at all. But yeah, just an absolutely charming book. Totally recommend it. Oh my word. I have a huge list. I have a huge list. Look at this, front and back of books. And this video is probably already much longer than I wanted it to be. But I think yeah, there's a lot more books I could go on about that I have to reread every single time, every single year. I think the last one I will leave you with is Sheri S. Tepper's Beauty. When I was a kid, still now, it's probably evident in my style of writing, I loved fairy tales. And I would search out fairy tales, fairy tale retellings, fairy tales in their original. I'm surprised I wasn't traumatized because original fairy tales are really dark. But I would search them all out and I wanted to read everything, all of them. And I just devoured them. Okay, are we going somewhere? Okay, baby, come on down. I devoured them. I just loved them. And I came across this retelling. It's a thick book, just FYI. Beauty by Sheri S. Tepper. And it was probably a bit more mature. Okay, hi again. Than I should have been reading at that age. But there was a concept that stuck out to me. I don't want to ruin it too much because it really is a beautiful book and I think it's worth the read. But if I had to put that book, that book's thesis in a sentence, it's that beauty in the world must be protected at all costs. And as artists, we are responsible for the beautiful things we create and put into the world, or the horrible things we create and put into the world. And that really stuck with me. I guess kind of as a responsibility as an artist, like I want to create beautiful things and I want to create beautiful things that inspire people and make people think and really reach them in the depths of their soul. And I don't want to put out horrible things that could hurt someone or, you know, make them doubt themselves or I don't even know, like I don't want to put out ugly things. I want to put out beautiful things. And I think that's why that particular book, Beauty, stuck with me because of that premise. It's a very thought provoking and deep premise. And like I said, I was probably a little bit too young to be reading that material at the time, but it stuck with me. And so, on that note, I'm going to end this video. I want you to get out there and create because the world needs your art. And I hope you found this video useful and helpful. If you did, tell your friends about it, share with people. You know where all the buttons are to like and subscribe and all that stuff. Get yourself a cat that will leave you alone. I don't know. And I hope you have a lovely day.